Hi and welcome to this video. I'm going to tell you why job titles don't matter. So you can easily get hooked up on a job and you might be thinking, okay, I want to transition to a DevOps engineer or possibly some sort of software developer, whatever the role might be. And you might be going, well, my job title says X. It's not related. How can I make that leap? And I'm here to tell you now that, to be honest, job titles really don't matter. I've made a leap to a DevOps engineer and my previous role wasn't called that. In fact, I've gone from system administrator and my previous role before that was nothing to do with system administration. The key thing it really comes down to is how you as an individual are technically. Like, as long as you know the stuff you're going to do in that role, like if you're going for a DevOps role and you know some of the tools, it doesn't really matter what your old job role was. And this is where some of the stuff can really start getting, kind of like grey area. Because in the UK, when it comes to references, there's a bit of an interesting legal stance on it, where you can't, as a company, give a reference, i.e., if I say my old employer was Google, in the UK, we can't ask Google for a reference to say, well, we think TJ is a really good engineer and he's the best guy ever. And if it turns out I go to that job and like complete trash, then they can actually sue them for false representation, which is like really crazy, right? What you can do instead is the company only gives a reference to confirm the job title and the time and date you worked there. So it might be, right, worked at Google from January 2018 to January 2019. So they'll confirm 12 months or 11 months or however long it is of employment. And that's the only reference they can give. Now, one of my slightly kind of grey area life hacks, I don't think it makes much of a difference, but if it helps you feel more confident applying for that role, you kind of got to back this up. But I'll share it with you anyway. In hindsight, I should probably be really careful about putting this sort of content up because, if someone watches this and goes, yes, and this guy's lied his entire career, I'd say that's false because I've clearly been able to do the job. The kind of grey area life hack is you put your job title down and a slash and what you think your job title is. Now, look, I've been in a position where I was effectively working as a DevOps engineer and I said, look, I want you to change my job title to DevOps engineer. Right, you look at a business perspective, there is like zero cost involved, like zero admin, maybe like changing an Excel spreadsheet and possibly at worst, drafting up a new contract to confirm your new job title. Something is DevOps engineer, right? It's like 2 minutes work. Needless to say, that didn't happen. But the key thing to take away from that is I was working, in effect, using the tooling, the knowledge, everything was DevOps. But my job title wasn't that. I think it was something like operations engineer or something like technical operations specialist. It was something along those lines. So you can imagine if I'm applying for a DevOps role, people are like, hey, this guy wasn't a DevOps engineer. Truthfully, I don't think it made any difference. Honestly, I put a slash DevOps engineer, but because I could back up with experience and that knowledge, right? I don't think they really cared. But maybe it helped persuade them on the CV, on the job. There's some people go, well, you lied about it. But when they asked for the reference, they said, what was your previous job title? I put down word for word what the original one was. So when they confirmed with the company and said, yes, that was his job title, no problem at all. The catch with this, right, is don't be crazy with it, right? Don't do something silly. And like if your previous role was accountant and you say, no, scratch that, I'm going to put down senior system administrator, they're going to catch on when they call up for that reference. I don't know in case in the US where you can actually get like a proper written reference out there, which will say, in detail about what you were doing in the role. But in the UK, that's not the case. They grill you in an interview and you say, okay, what is Kubernetes? And you can't explain it, but you've put it on your CV, you put DevOps engineer, you're going to have a really bad time when it comes to trying pass that interview. To sum it up, basically, job titles really don't matter. If you don't feel confident that your job title is going to help you and you need to put someone else in there, but you have been doing what that job role would do, put a slash in that job role. But when it comes to the reference, tell them my previous job title was this. But again, truthfully, it's about getting your foot in the door. And once you got that interview, you got that knowledge, you got that experience, you're absolutely crushing that interview, you're going to succeed, right? You're going to pass, you're going to get that job. And again, that job title is just going to be irrelevant. I hope that helps you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.